Parents, if your child is talented, gifted, and is in school, you're in trouble. To the child, more trouble. Stay with me. Sit down and relax. We're in class. You're learning. Who am I speaking to? I'm speaking to a high-achieving parent. You're a successful entrepreneur, business owner, thought leader. And when you look at your child, you're like, your boy is talented, your girl is gifted. And you also hold conviction that the school system is not helping them to prioritize. Now, the key word here is prioritizing, to prioritize their talent, their gift. And to me, talent, gift is identity, is purpose. So it's not helping them to prioritize that. Please, it's you I'm speaking to, because you're in trouble if you keep your child in school. It's a toxic environment. Why? Because school is not prioritizing their strength, is not prioritizing their gift, their talent, their passion. Because guess what? Your child's gold lies in their gift. Your child's treasures lies in their talent. Your child's profit lies in their passion. How do I know they do not prioritize? Please stay with me. Sit down and relax. You're in class, you're learning. I'm saving you 20 plus years of funding the miseducation of your child. School is general. It treats every child like everyone. It treats every child like everyone. Does that make sense? School prioritizes grades. School prioritizes grades. See, school prioritizes tests. Schools prioritize. Now, school prioritize tests, prioritize grades, prioritize certificates, prioritize diplomas, prioritize degrees, prioritize employment, titles, purpose. This is identity. Purpose means prayer. That one thing. No, purpose. Now, with the purpose, with the purpose is with the purpose is destination. Now with the purpose is destination. Let's write it here. Destination. Purpose is destination, and destination has also purpose is destination. Let's write it here. Purpose is destination. And just like success leaves clues. Same applies to purpose. Purpose leaves clues. And in this case, we've seen the clue is talent, gift, passion. So your child's talent is purpose. Your child's gift is purpose. Your child's passion is purpose. It's a clue that helps you to know the destination. So schools prioritize this. Purpose prioritizes this. So when you keep your child in school, whose purpose is identified. School is a toxic environment. Why? Because what is prioritized is not what the child has. Does that make sense? How do I know this? Look at the time they spend on talent, nurturing the gift, nurturing the passion. Look at the time. Because they give too much time to this, which is the child's weakness. Because this is your child's strength. Dan Sullivan, I quote, he said, when you spend most of your time on your weaknesses, Dan Sullivan, I quote, now, Dan Sullivan, I quote, he said, now, Dan Sullivan, I quote, he said, when you spend most of your time on your weaknesses, you end up with strong weaknesses. You see? So, because too much time is prioritized, now, Dan Sullivan, I quote, he said, when you spend most of your time on your weaknesses, you end up with strong weaknesses. Because too much time school, Dan Sullivan, I quote, he said, when you spend most of your time on your weaknesses, you end up with strong weaknesses. So in the end, both purpose and this is going to be Dan Sullivan, I quote, he said, when you spend most of your time on your weaknesses, you end up with strong weaknesses. So school prioritizes the child's weaknesses and tells the child, be good here. So it is strengthening the child's weaknesses instead of strengthening the child's strength. So in the end, the child ends up having no purpose and no this. Does that make sense? Does it make sense? So let's have a case study here. Now, Dan Sullivan, I quote. Now, Dan Sullivan, I quote, he said, when you spend most of your time on your weaknesses, you will end up with strong weaknesses. And when you look at the school system, it prioritizes this, which is the child's weaknesses. So it tells the child to become good at this, not becoming strong at their strength. So in the end, the child graduates or drop out of school with no purpose and no success here. Does that make sense? Are we together? Now let's have a case study here. Case study. I love speaking data. Let's speak data here. This case study is Fresh Kid. Fresh Kid's talent was discovered. Its purpose was discovered at an early age. Guess what happened? They were excited because they discovered that, our boy is a bird that is meant to fly. So what happened? The government officials kicked in and told Fresh Kid, they convinced the parent that, you know what? Yes, you are a bird meant to fly, but hold on, first swim. Stay with me. I'm serving you 20 plus years of miseducating your child. Fresh Kid was discovered as a bird that is meant to fly. That's the strength. So when government officials kicked in, they convinced the parents, they convinced Fresh Kid himself that, you know what, first swim. So he was convinced to become a fish. When he was a bird, the whole world knew Fresh Kid. The whole country, Uganda, we knew Fresh Kid as a young kid that has penetrated, doing wonders, singing, like just flowing. We knew him because he was flying. That's where his strength was. So when he was convinced to become a fish, to become good at tests, grades, certificates, diplomas, degrees, employment titles, guess what? Where do you see him today? When did you last hear about him today? When did you last hear about him? Because guess what? When did you last hear about him? And why? I'll tell you why. He's swimming, no more flying. That's how purpose is killed. That's why I told you that if your child is talented, gifted, passionate about a thing, and is in school, as a parent, you're in trouble. To the kid, more trouble. Because when you are bad, when you know purpose, you don't force, you attract. Things just come to you. That's why when Fresh Kid discovered, is good at singing, what happened? Deals came in to sponsor him, his next life. Deals came in. People wanted to fuel the talent so that he becomes a star. Things started coming, cars, like you attract, you do not force. Because with this, you force, because this is weaknesses. So what's the solution then? What's the solution then? As a parent, if you've acknowledged that, what do? Look for an environment that can nurture your child's talent or gift. But not in school. You either look for a personal coach that can coach, guide, mentor your child, nurturing the strength, nurturing the purpose, and you put it to the world, where the world is in position to say, oh, no, that thing is solving our problem. Here is your money. Give us what you have. Make sense? So you either find a personal coach or mentor, guide, or you find that environment that nurtures that. So if it is singing, direct your child to go to singing institutions, specifically institutions or people that coach, train, guide on that. When you invest in money there, it's called investment, not here. Here, doing that, it's now called investment, not here. Does that make sense? So, I believe we lack such institutions that prioritize, do that. So I strongly believe when you understand this and you put it, I strongly believe when you understand what we just shared. Now, I strongly believe when you understand what we've just shared and you put it to action, you will definitely be proud of your child. But most importantly, the child will be proud of you because you helped the child become who they feel within themselves. I remain DK. I'm just your boy. Good luck. Cheers.